everybody, it's BC. Welcome back to Give Me Signs, a channel where we help you go from design all the way to the customer's hand, helping you build your brand and your website or whatever else you guys might be doing. In this video, we are again visiting the design world. And today I'm going to be working in a newer program for me, Affinity Designer. I had been reading about this program for the last year. Everyone's raving about it. And it's a cheap alternative to more Illustrator, but they have a photo version and also a publisher version that definitely compete with the Adobe products. And now that I've used them, Adobe, Affinity Designer has now become my new favorite design program on the iPad. I've been designing a lot more on the iPad. I've worked on a desktop computer for half of my life, guys, and I'm tired of sitting down looking at a box. And so having the organic ability to draw, just having the ability to kind of just move around with an iPad is really convenient. And to see how powerful this particular program is awesome. It's vector-based. You can also use it as a pixel. They have like a photo persona where you can use pixel brushes, so you can sketch and then ink it in vector. And that means the world to me, because now I can take those vector pieces and enlarge them as big as I want or shrink them as big as I want. They're going to stay crisp, looking amazing. So anyway, so in this one, we're going to be designing in Affinity Designer, and we're going to be making a gamer mushroom. So there's a famous game with about a plumber that has a mustache, and in that game there's mushrooms that he jumps on. And so that particular imagery has always been kind of associated to gaming. And so I'm going to show you how to make a really cute 3D kind of gamer mushroom that you can use in a lot of different designs. I'm going to show you in the beginning just a design I made, but you can use, I'm going to show you mainly how to make the mushroom that you can now change colors, put different designs on it, add different wording to it. So you might be able to get, a bunch of different t-shirt designs for possibly the gaming community. So I think this is a good one to also teach, because it shows a lot of the things you can do in Affinity Designer just by using shapes. In this particular one, I didn't go into full, sketching and inking and the whole thing. I wanted to keep it really simple so that anybody can do this. And literally anybody should be able to do this tutorial. It's very simple. You're just going to be using shapes and some of the effects tools that are built into Affinity Designer to create the character. So anyway, we're going to hop into Affinity Designer now. Hopefully you like it. If you could, guys, hit the like and subscribe if you get a chance. Also, we have a Facebook group called Heat Press Creators, and you can head on over there. We're going to be doing a giveaway very shortly for a mug, and there's also another giveaway that I'm going to be announcing this week with collaboration with actually an ink company that I had reviewed this week called Haipu Inks, and they're going to be giving away a 2720 Epson printer with a full set of their inks, so you have a full sublimation printer ready to go. I believe that they're going to announce it in a couple weeks, so I'm going to actually make a video announcement. I'm in collaboration with them and a couple other YouTube channels for them that just popped up in the last day. So good news for everybody. Maybe someone might get lucky out there. So anyway, let's hop over to Affinity Designer and check out how we're going to do this. All right, so here we are in Affinity Designer. I've been having a lot of fun with this, guys. This is an amazing program. So what we're going to be doing today is we're going to be making this gamer mushroom, and we kind of gave it a little bit of an Irish type of vibe. So we're going to learn how to do this. Of course, I have some watermarks on it because this is a template. But anyway, let's hop into a brand new one. Let's make this. So over here in the opening part of Designer, on the top right here, there's a plus sign, guys. If you click that, we're going to create a new document. So over here on the left, click New Document. You're going to get these options right here. Over here on the left, where it says Device, I want to scroll down and I go to Press Ready. And it's going to give you some other options over here. And it defaults to an A4, which is kind of like a letter size. I usually design on an A3, which is like it's basically 11 by 17. We can put this in inches here. It's like 11, almost, it's like 11 and a half by like 16 and a half anyway. It's CMYK, and transparent background. That looks good to go. And we're going to go ahead and hit OK. And this is going to bring up our artboard. So here we are. Here's the artboard, guys. First thing, as you see how I'm able to twist this, you got to set this up actually. So if you go up here to the top left, click back, and then you're going to be in your main area. On the top right, there's a gear, like a settings gear. Go ahead and click that. And what you want to do is go over to, where is it? I believe it's, is it tools? Yeah. Okay. So under tools, there's going to be an option right here that says allow canvas rotation in all tools. Make sure that that is selected. Okay. Go ahead and hit done. Let's go back into that document. So that way you're able to move the canvas around, which comes in real handy, especially when you're using an Apple Pencil. Anyway, even though we're not going to be doing that much drawing in this one, it's just a handy feature to have. Okay. So now we are in the main document, and the very first thing we want to do is make sure that we are in the vector persona, which is on the top left. It would be the one that actually shows the Affinity Designer logo. On the far left over here, guys, is your main toolbar. At the bottom, you'll see a square. That is your rectangle tool, but if you click it, it gives you all the other shapes that are available in Affinity Designer. So we want to use the ellipse tool. Go ahead and click the ellipse tool. Over here on the top right is the color that you're able to select for it. Let's just go ahead and give it a green kind of color. I want to give it a nice kind of Kelly green. That looks good because it's for St. Patrick's Day. So anyway, let's go ahead and click and drag. And as you can see, I can make this any kind of shape I want, whether it's an ellipse or a perfect circle. If you hold down your finger while you're dragging, it'll keep it completely constrained to a circle. For right now, I think what we'll do is kind of just do something like about that size. All right, guys. And then what we want to do is on the top left, the third one over, there's 3 dots. If you click that, there's an option on the second row that says convert to curves. Go ahead and convert to curves. And then over here on the left, you want to go to your second one, which is our node tool. And we want to select the bottom node and simply move it up. Okay. We want to basically make it about flat. Try to keep it in the middle. Also, guys, just so you're aware, on the bottom left, there's 3 buttons. There's one that has a magnet. Make sure that that is on and selected because that allows you to snap. See how it kind of pops up that line, that kind of guideline? That way I know everything's matching up correctly. So anyway, let's make it flat like that. That should do it. Go ahead and click this move tool again so that way that is selected. Now what we want to do is create one more ellipse on top of this one. So go back to the ellipse tool. This time we want to select more of a kind of like a cream gray kind of colorish. So let's go there. Again, go ahead and create your ellipse. This time we're going to make it a little bit more of an, more of an ellipse, more than a circle. So let's keep it right about there. That looks good. We're going to do the same thing. Convert that to curves. Okay. Remember, under the top 3 buttons, second row, convert to curves. Go back to your node tool, and now we can kind of play around with this. Yeah. Make that go there. We're going to make this kind of come down a little bit. I think that looks good. That's looking. Yeah, something like that looks good. Go ahead and click on the move tool. I'm going to maybe from the corner, if you click the corner, it'll drag it in. And like I said, if you hold down that finger, it'll keep it proportional. I want them to have kind of more of a bigger chrome dome there. So this is how it's looking so far. So this is going to be your basic shapes for the mushrooms. And now we can start adding things to kind of give it a little bit of dimension. So the first thing we want to do is with this move tool selected, go ahead and click on the bottom ellipse tool. And then over here on the right-hand side, there is a FX button, which will bring up your effects, okay? Now what we're gonna do is give it a little bit of an inner shadow right here, so it looks like this hat is kind of hanging on top of it. So click inner shadow, and then actually click the word inner shadow to bring up your bottom menu, guys, down here, okay? Now the one that we wanna look at is offset, okay? So on offset, slowly move this up. You'll see how like there's a shadow starting to be created. Now you can see that it's kind of off. We want it to kind of go all the way around. So over here on angle, we're going to start to move that around till it looks correct. I think that looks pretty good right there. Now the color's a little harsh, a little bit too much of a dark. So I'm going to go actually with like a dark green, you know, kind of like a, I think something like that looks pretty good. And the radius is kind of like a blur. So we're going to do just a little bit of a fade on it just to kind of give it a little bit of dimension there, okay? So that's the first part. Okay, now the second part, now we got to put a little bit of a shadow on the bottom because now that the light source is coming down, the bottom needs a little bit of a shadow. But how do you do that once you already have the shadow selected? Well, you're able to actually group this. So with this all selected like this, go up to the three dots up at the top left. And if you go to the second column, there's a group right there. Go ahead and click that. And now you have the ability, see how the inner shadow is back to normal. I can now give it another inner shadow. And now this time, I'm going to do the offset. I'm going to use the angle over here to twist it so that it goes all the way to the bottom. See how I got that going now to the bottom. And this time I really want to blur it out a lot. I want to kind of give it some dimension down there, you know, but I still want to keep it within the right colors, you know, to kind of really make it look right. So there, that's looking pretty good right there. Kind of like this green gray kind of look to it. Okay. Now, now what we got to do, okay, now we got that part. We got to now do something to the top to kind of give it some dimension. It's very flat up here. Okay. And first thing we want to do is put an actual ellipse inside here because it's going to be very hard because of the shape on the bottom. So over here on the layers palette, you can click on that, which is on the left, and it's, I think it's the fourth one down. It looks like a big tall sandwich. That's the layers palette. So if you click that open, you can see your layers right there. Go ahead with the move tool over here on the top left. Now we want to select the top one now. Okay. Over here where the green dots are again, go to the three green dots, and over on the second column on the bottom now, there's an option to insert inside. Okay, we want to click that. Now what that will do is anything we now put into this, it will be masked by the shape of that hat. So let's grab our ellipse tool down here on the bottom left. Let's go over here to the color. Let's make it a little bit of, whoa. Didn't want to do that. First, let's draw the ellipse. Let's draw the ellipse first. So, we didn't do it right. Hold on one second. There we go. Okay. Back to the move tool. Sorry about that, guys. Okay, click onto that layer. We're going to click onto the three buttons. Insert inside, which is on the bottom, bottom of the second column. Click the ellipse tool. Just go ahead and drag an ellipse into there right now. We can shape this here in a second. Let's change the color of it. See how it's now changed color. I think I want to keep it green, just a little bit more of a darker green, kind of like, I think that would be a good color. Now let's shape it down a little bit. Let's get it kind of fitting correctly around here so it looks more like it belongs there. Lift that up a little bit. That's starting to look good. Okay, now what we want to do is give it a little bit of a Gaussian blur. And the way we do that, again, you go over here on the right-hand side, go to that FX, and if you go over here on the top, there's Gaussian blur. Go ahead and click that. Again, click the name Gaussian blur to bring up the options of it. And we just have the radius here. So we're gonna go ahead and open that up. See how it's giving me a nice, soft fade all the way around, giving a nice dimension to the top. So now it looks kind of like this is now overhanging on this part, bottom part, which is what we want. So I think that looks pretty good there. We're going to go ahead and do the same thing we did before. So with everything as is, go and click the three dot buttons over here and go to group. And now it allows me to still put some more highlights over here on the actual piece. And so let's go ahead and do that by doing a inner shadow, okay? And this time we're going to do a little bit of a different inner shadow. I'm going to kind of give it a highlight over here on the left. So again, hit inner shadow once more to bring up the options. And on the blend mode, bring it over to screen, okay? And then what we want to do, I'm going to put like more of a yellowish color over here, okay? And now when I do my offset, watch what happens. You'll see, oh, am I on the wrong one? I think I might be on the wrong one, guys. Hold on a second. That's not where I want to be. I want to get on the right layer. Let's get on the right layer. I was on this inner ellipse. So just to pop out of that, it was selected on this. Just go back one, guys, over here to the main curve one. So that's selected now. And I want to go ahead and put it over here. This is where I want my highlight to kind of come over there. Actually, let me see if I can get it. Let's get it up. Oh, there we go. That's looking a little bit better. There we go. Let's change this color to a yellow, like I said, and we want to put it to screen. Okay, you see I was kind of giving it a nice highlight. I want to increase the opacity of it so it gives a nice edge. I just want to do a real small blur on it. Not much, just a little bit. And the color, let's see. Opacity down on it. Bringing the opacity down. See, now it's got me a nice little glow over there. Now, I kind of want to do the same thing actually to the bottom part, so there's just a little bit of a hint of a nice highlight around it. So let's do that. So click on the Move tool, the bottom one now, okay? Let's go over here to the Effects palette. Now, we're going to have to group this one more time, guys, okay? So go up here because that's already, the inner shadow's already selected, so we want to flatten it basically. And the way you do that is go to the three dots, go over here to the second column, hit group, and now we're grouped again. We can add one more inner shadow, and that's what I'm going to be doing. Hit the word inner shadow to bring up the options. We're going to go over to screen, like we just did. Select the color as yellow. And then we just do a little bit of an offset. I'm going to bring, I think I'm going to have to go over this way a little bit. There you go. A little bit of a radius on it. There we go. Now we have some real nice dimension there. So you can see that's really starting to have a very 3D vibe to it, okay? Now we're just going to do a little bit of decoration on it from here. So go ahead and click on the Move tool. Over here, go ahead and hit on the Layers palette. And now what we want to do is start to create some eyes. So let's put some eyes on this guy. So let's go over here to the Ellipse tool. Click the Ellipse tool. Go ahead, click and drag some eyes. You can make the eyes any way you want. I like mine kind of, I don't know, kind of big, small, with a little bit of a, a little bit of a look to it that way. I'm going to leave the eyes. Actually, I'm going to give them a little bit more of a dark. Let's go there. That looks a little bit more the color they should be. Now, I want to add some highlights to those eyes. Okay, so with the Ellipse tool still selected, I'm going to draw one more ellipse inside. Okay, color it white this time. So let's click it white. Okay, and I'm going to create one more ellipse right below it, tiny. Oop, tiny, right? Oh, it's not letting me. Yeah, it's not letting me get in there. Okay. And let me create one more here. Okay. Click the Move tool. Let's just move everything kind of into place here, guys. I want to kind of select. I want to select these two. If you also, guys, if you want to select something in general while the Move tool is selected, I usually go outside of the actual area, and anything that falls within that completely will be selected, which it is. So I have two of them right now, but I want to kind of just get, just the white areas, because I want to move them just a little bit over a little bit. And I think that looks pretty good. So now I want to duplicate this whole eye, put it on the other side. And what I want to do first is, as I told you before, if you click and drag over it, it'll select everything. So now we can go over in our layers palette. You can see everything selected over here. And there's on the top here, there's a group button, which is a third over on the right. Click that. And now that's been grouped, as you can see, into one group. And that's the group if you open up the group layer. So now I can move everything around a lot easier. I like to kind of spread out my eyes sometimes, guys, on these, just kind of give it a cool look. Now what I'm going to do is duplicate this, okay? Duplicate this. And the way to do that is 2 fingers on the screen and just push it over. It's that simple. That's all you have to do to duplicate it. So I actually duplicated it twice, which I didn't want to do. So let's select that. And on the bottom left, this is how you erase, guys. There's a trash can. Boop, it's all gone. So we got our 2 eyes. They're looking pretty good. I think that's looking like a cute character already. He needs a mouth of some sort. So let's do another shape. If you go over here to the ellipse tool, if you click it this time, and let's look at all the other shapes here that they have. There's one called a crescent, and this tends to make for a really good mouth. Go ahead and click and drag, and as you can see, it's kind of smaller. And I leave it right there. Use this button, not the blue ones, but the white one. That is the one that actually turns the piece. I go ahead and click the move tool to get there. And as you can see, if I hold my finger there, it'll lock it to 45 degrees or 90 degrees. So that's what I did. I'm going to open this up just a little bit. Put that right in the middle. As you can see now, he has a cute little mouth. And I think that should look good, but we want to give it some dimension. It looks a little flat. So with that selected, let's go over here to the FX menu, and we're going to do the same thing. Let's give it a little bit of an inner shadow. Click inner shadow to bring up the options. Go over to offset. Let's offset it just a little bit. And that's looking good. Put a little bit of a blur on it, not much. But now we have a nice looking eye for this character. So now we're looking pretty good. We're getting pretty close, guys. There's just a few little decorations to make it just kind of pop. And now the next thing we want to do is give it a little bit of a shadow underneath. And we're going to do that with an ellipse tool again. So go ahead and click the shape tool, click the ellipse tool, okay? And what we want to do is kind of just create like a little bit of a bigger, that looks about right. Go on the move tool, let's move that to the center. Now, as you can see, this is in the front. We want it all the way in the back. So if you go over here on the right-hand side, click on the layers menu. And if you go and click the transform. So I'm sorry, on the right-hand side, go to the bottom. It's the third from the bottom. It looks like a square with another square in it, kind of like a picture-in-picture. This is your transform area. At the bottom of it, the order, at the top, this gives you your order of like send it to the back, send it to the front. So let's send it to the back. So it's all the way in the back. The color, let's go ahead and click that. Make sure that it's black. So now we have a black color. Now we want to also blur it. So let's go over to the effects tab. We're going to go over to Gaussian blur. Click Gaussian blur to bring up the option. Let's get that radius nice and big. That's looking pretty good. But let's bring down the opacity on this. So click on the layers palette, okay? Click the 3 dots, and on the very top is your opacity, your transparency, in other words. And let's just bring that down, just give it a little bit of a nice shadow, so that way it's not too brutal. But now we have some dimension to this. So as you can see, it's really come together, guys, so far. Now we just got to add the final little piece, which is, since this guy's Irish, we're going to give him a nice little clover to put inside. So first thing we got to do is create the clover. So let's go over here to layers palette. Let's click onto that curve. This is the top one. And I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to paste inside. So insert inside. We're going to go over here on the left to your shape tools. Let's click it. And we want to look for a heart shape. So let's click on this. Let's click on white. And let's make the first one right here. Now, all we got to do is make 4 all around. So that's what we're going to do. If you see this little red dot, if you click it, you can make it taller or smaller. I'm going to just bring it in just a little bit. And now what we're going to do is click the move tool, and we're going to hold down 2 fingers and just move over the first heart. Hold down 1 finger to keep it constrained. Move it into place. And now what we got to do is now duplicate that one more time. So select both like this. And now what I'm going to do is hold down 2 fingers again and just move to the side and rotate it. There we go. And now bring those 2 together. And there's our clover. We got to put a little bit of a, let's twist it this way. Okay. And now we got to put a little bit of a stem. And I'm going to do that just using the pencil tool. So if you click on the pencil tool, which is on the left-hand side, this is, again, the pencil tool. If you go down here, you have some options. We don't want a stroke. So turn off your stroke. And on the fill, we're going to make it white's fine. That's going to work out fine. And so when you draw without the stroke and only the fill, it's going to do something like this. See how it kind of lets me kind of draw a shape? Hit 2 fingers if you want to undo, guys, by the way. 2 fingers, undo, 3 fingers, redo. But anyway, undo. I'm going to do that into like a shape right here. So I'm going to go down, over, and then up. I got a little too skinny there. Let's try one more time. Down, over, and up. All right, that looks, there we go. We got a little bit of a clover. So now we're going to take these pieces, go over to the layers palette, which is on the right-hand side, about 4 down. You see that the array selected. On the 3rd button over, that's your group button. Hit that. That's now been grouped. And now we are in business. Put that right there in the middle. And now we're going to make 2 more copies. And so hold down your 2 fingers. And twist it. Actually. Okay, let's see. Actually, I'm going to move that over just a little bit there. And then I'm going to hold that over. We're going to move over to the side. And then what I want to do is just flip it. So if you go over here on the right-hand side to the transform tool, which is here at the bottom, the second one is a flip and rotate. Go ahead and flip it. Now it's flipped. Okay, so now it's matching on the other side. And now what I want to do is take these 3 and put them actually inside. Okay, these are now going to get dragged. So let's go over to the layer palette. See, they're all 3 selected. First, let's group them by hitting the group button. And then we're going to click, hold, and drag it underneath this big curve one. Oh, that's not where I want to put it. Put it right on it. So it drops inside of the actual piece. And now what I want to do is bring down the opacity on that just a little bit. So those are just kind of blended into the hat. And now we got ourselves a cool looking little character. Okay, so that is our gamer character. And now all we got to do, you can add anything you want to it from here, which is nice. You can put some text. You can write, you know, I'm Irish, I'm lucky, I'm a lucky gamer. Let's just put gamer for right now. So let's add some text over here on the left-hand side. On the bottom, you have your artistic text tool. Go ahead and click somewhere. Let's bring up the size a little bit. Let's hit the button. Let's type something. We're going to type gamer. And that'll work for right now. Let's just use gamer. All right. Now let's move that to the middle. Now let's find a good font for us to use for this. I'll do another video on how to install fonts. You can put a ton of fonts into this, guys, that really work well. Let's just find something that looks kind of cool for right now. That's not so bad. That looks kind of cool. All right, that doesn't look so bad, right? Okay, let's move that down a little bit. All right, let's change the color on that. probably make a duplicate of this, bring it to the top. Okay. This is right lucky. And this one I'll put in a different font maybe. Let's try a different font. Maybe something a little bit more scripty. It's not so bad. And let's see if we find something cooler. That's too crazy. There we go. Oh, it looks kind of cool. Put that. Let's twist that a little bit. Okay, that looks somewhat, I don't know if I like that. I don't know if I even like the lucky. Let's just get rid of that. Let's just leave it gamer. So let's just say this is it, guys. I think you can kind of understand from here. You can design more, obviously, from this point. I was mainly just trying to show you how to get a character in there. If you go back to our original one, what I had done to mine, I just added a little more I'm Irish at the bottom and just put a box around it. It wasn't that much different than what we're doing here, but I think this was kind of like a good way for you to start. You can kind of figure out some sort of font or some kind of saying to add to these. Now, what's cool about these characters is that, you know, you can just go ahead and start changing stuff. You know, if you wanted to make this a blue character, you know, go back to all the layers. You can change it to something else. Put a different symbol in there if you want. You know, it doesn't really matter. What's nice about these characters inside Affinity Designer is that you totally can change all of this stuff very easily and then end up with something that you can make multiple things. So instead of it, you know, if this is like the gamer kind of, people relate this a lot to gaming because of the mushroom, because of a very famous video game that I won't mention that I'm sure you know what I'm talking about. But as long as you're not making an exact copy of that, guys, and you're just more using the vibe of these kind of gamer mushrooms, come up with a bunch of different sayings like, you know, I'm a great gamer, or kiss me, I'm a gamer, or whatever it might be. Let your imagination run wild. And then once you're done, you know, you can put that onto a mock-up like we did in the beginning. And now you have a shirt. You can list this on your Etsy page or on your actual website page. So that is the end of this one video, guys. I'll come back and do some more with Affinity Designer. Again, I just got this program about a week ago. I think it's an amazing program for $10. I mean, I'm sold. I really like this program. So anyway, I hope that helped, and I'll see you in the next one. All right, guys. So now you got a gamer mushroom. You can make a ton of different things with that. You can make his head bigger. You know, play around with the stuff. You know, stretch stuff out a little bit, change colors. Come up with whatever you might want for an idea. And if you come up with some ideas, guys, with these design tutorials, I would love to see you guys actually trying this stuff out and post it on Instagram and tag us. We're Give Me Signs or at Give Me Signs on Instagram. Hashtag us on Facebook too, or post in the Heat Press Creators group, which you can go here, guys. We're over on Facebook. Post it there. And also while you're at it, hit the like and subscribe, guys. It always helps us know what content is working and what kind of content you guys like and what we can continue making for you. So anyway, hopefully this was a good video for you guys. I'm going to make some more videos with Affinity Designer. Yes, I am going to still be making some videos for Photoshop and Illustrator and all the other good ones out there, and Procreate and the whole thing. So anyway, until the next video, guys, have a good one, and I will talk soon.